Welcome to the Cloud English podcast. We're here on a Saturday morning, October 22nd. I haven't done a Saturday morning podcast in a long time. So I'm here with my wife. Some of you may have seen previous videos where we talked about, I don't remember what we talked about in previous videos, but we have some. So this is my wife, Mushroom. And we're just gonna be chatting today. Hey, Mushroom.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
We're sharing a microphone. Usually I have it really up close here like that, but we're sharing today. We'll see. We might get another backup microphone in the future. So apologize if the sound is a little bit lower than usual. Okay. So I know people are still joining, but in the meantime. I want to talk about Mushroom. I think we're going to talk about maybe it makes sense to just give people a bit of background about us, a bit of a story of how we met. What do you think?
Sure.
Yeah. You wanna start? Do you remember?
That's a good question.
It was a long time. How many years ago was it? That we actually
10
met?
years.
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah. You were with a friend. Do you wanna share it?
You can go ahead and share.
All right, I'll start.
I
Maybe
don't
you can
remember.
fill it in. So I had a friend who had met someone in China. We both lived in China. Actually, I had seen her before once.
You said that I was wearing a very weird jacket or clothes.
You were wearing a very weird clothes. You were wearing was like a shirt with a big thing that hung down behind your legs. It was really weird. I had been with another friend and I saw you and I never thought, I didn't have any thoughts like, oh, there's a cute girl or anything like that.
Cute girl or cute
I didn't
clothes?
have any thoughts other than that's a weird shirt.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the only thing I had in my mind. And then my friend met your coworker at a Christmas party at a nightclub and decided to go on a date with her. And he wanted to bring me because he wasn't sure they weren't sure how they felt about each other, so she wanted to bring a friend and he wanted to bring a friend. He brought me and she brought you, and that's how it happened. Right? Is that right? Yeah.
Pretty close.
What else do you remember about that?
I was trying to find an opportunity for my friends and your friend to have, starting conversation, and then they have more opportunity to talk. And I started to talk to you a little bit more because, there was very clear line that these two people are dating and we are just friends. Yeah. We don't know each other, then we start talking. I was talking in English and that was really bad English. Back to 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean when we first met, your English you were definitely not as good as now, right? You've come a long way for sure.
Right.
But you were working at a training center, right, at the time. So then I used to go and hang out with you at the training center where you...
My office.
Yeah, your office with your friends. And you're still friends with those people.
Yeah, some of those.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I see we have some people joining. That's awesome. Thank you for joining, everybody. Good to have you. If you have any questions for us, we're just going to be talking about... because we both came from China to America, but obviously I was coming back to America, so it's a very different experience than coming to America for the first time, right? So we're going to be talking a bit about that, and we recently moved into a house, and that was a whole experience. So if you have any questions about that stuff, let us know. So what do you remember about the process of moving, or what stuck out to you as maybe unusual or strange when you first got to America?
I don't think that was strange, but I remember that very, very clearly. I don't know why. I think I also remember the person who in the supermarket. So we stopped somewhere because I was very thirsty. I want to get some water. We got off from your mom's car, and then we stopped in the gas station, I guess. And then we went to a very small supermarket. It's not super small though.
Mm-hmm.
And I
gas station supermarket, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I start realize, oh, now I'm in the United States, and this is the first store that I visit after the flight.
Yeah, we so was my dad there? Was everyone there? He said.
I remember your mom was just very excited.
Everyone was
doing this.
So I hadn't been home for 4 years or something like that, a long time.
Yes.
Yes.
Your dad and your aunts.
Right.
And your mom. And a couple others.
So my whole family met us at the airport. Everyone was there to meet us. My dad, my mom, my aunt, my brothers, they were all waiting because they hadn't seen me in 4 years, and they obviously were very excited to meet her. And since we were coming back, we had no support. I didn't have a job in the United States yet. You didn't have any experience. I hadn't used a credit card in the United States for 4 years, so I didn't have any credit, I don't think. And it was kind of, that part made me feel a little scared. Did you feel any of that fear?
I don't feel scared.
Oh, good. That means I did a good job of not telling you about all the scary stuff.
Oh, you hide it pretty well.
I protected you. I didn't tell you about all of the
We didn't have conversation about anything. We just booked a ticket.
We could be homeless at any moment.
You didn't have a credit card at that
time? No,
I
did, but I mean, you have to spend a lot of money in order to build your credit. I think my credit was kind of low, maybe.
You have to spend a lot of money in order to build your credit.
Oh, maybe that's like another thing. Well, you know how it works.
But you don't have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, you have to spend money. I mean, it helps. But I didn't have and also I didn't have any sort of track record of being in the United States, so it was a little scary.
Do you have any ID at the time? You have passport?
I had only my passport. I didn't have my driver's license had expired. My driver's license expired when I was 21 years old, and I didn't renew it.
Is that was the time you were living in other countries?
Yeah, I was in India. It expired in India.
Ah, cool.
And someone actually stole it in India off of my bag. An expired license. Yes, correct. Because I had it when I was traveling in India when I was 21. I had a big green bag that I carried everything in, and it had a little plastic, you know how the thing you put the card in and it shows the card. You can put it in there on the front of the bag. So some airline worker just pulled it out and took it.
How did you know that was an
airline? I assume. I mean, no one else would have had it because I saw it when I checked it in. And then when I got there, it wasn't there.
That was a very genius idea, Luke.
It's
very impressive.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
You put it as transparent little bag and then attack to your bag and show the people that, hey, look at me.
I should have put like $100 in there too. That's so dumb. I did so many dumb things traveling. It's unbelievable. I mean, I still do dumb things all the time, but...
Oh, yeah. As long as you're weird. I'm happy for you.
Right. I remember going to that gas station when we first arrived. It was very surreal for me to walk in the gas station and just think, oh, I grew up here, but it seems so unfamiliar.
Do you know that gas station?
I couldn't tell you where it is now, but yeah.
I remember I saw a lot of unfamiliar snacks.
Yeah,
and
that was what you
buy all of those.
All of them, yeah. I had the feeling that this is not familiar. I should feel familiar because I come from here, but it's not. So there's a phenomenon known as reverse culture shock. And reverse culture shock means when you come back to your own culture, you're shocked by it. That's what I had, for sure.
Do you think I will have the same reaction after I go back to China?
Last time we went to China, I was the one showing you around, like how, because you weren't there for the whole Mobike OFO thing. OFO Mobike, remember? OFO and Mobike were at the time doing a war where it was the whole rise of the bike sharing thing. And I had been there before, so when we went last time, I don't know, I can't remember when, a long time ago, I was showing you how to use stuff, and I had the feeling that sort of I don't know if it's true, but I had the feeling I knew more than you.
Right.
I mean, a little bit. I don't know. I would probably have I don't think I would feel super...
But I heard a lot of stories from my Chinese friends.
Right. You know the deep Chinese culture much better than I do.
Yeah, I'm from China, by the way.
Yeah, she's from China. I think I said that.
You said that? Okay.
I think so. Have we talked through the green card process, or maybe we can skip that? It's kind of technical.
Maybe we can see what people are saying.
Okay. Aleda says, maybe you already told this before a million times.
Questions?
Yeah, we have a chat going on here. Maybe you've already told us a million times before, but why do they call her Mushroom?
Oh. I think this is a great question.
It's a good question.
Yeah. A lot of people ask me why people call you Mushroom, and why you have a tattoo like that. Some kind of question. I mean,
you're gonna answer?
There is no deep meaning of
there
why
is.
I called Mushroom.
But
my hairstyle before, I can still find a picture if I can. It just looked like a mushroom.
I might be able to find a picture.
I do have in my phone, but if you want to find it, it's fine.
I might have one actually. Yeah, so when I first met her, she was introduced to me as Mogu, which is how you say mushroom in... Oh, that is a good one. There you go. Hey,
I think that was... I remember where we took this picture.
I mean, that looks like a mushroom, for sure.
I had this hairstyle for about 10 years, a long time.
I like it.
And one of my colleagues started calling me Mushroom because I look like a mushroom in this hair. And then I just directly translate to English mushroom. So some of your friends have very unique names, so that's not surprising. But it's not on the level of a nickname, because a nickname is only something that a few people call you, but everybody in my family, they don't even know what her Chinese name is, except maybe my mom knows, but she probably forgot. So everyone calls her Mushroom. Right.
Everybody, except her colleagues, which makes sense, right?
Right.
Right.
In my real life, people call... Not real life, in my life, does not include my work situation. People call me Mushroom.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah. But in the workspace, people call me my real name.
Because it would raise too many questions if you're in a big important meeting, and I get why you wouldn't use that. I'm just looking for some of my own mushroom pictures.
Okay.
But I'm not... Ooh, I'm not seeing... I see a butt.
Oh, that was one of my friends called it underwear.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You have friends with weird names. I can't show this, obviously, but there it is. It's a whole butt.
It's a whole something.
It's a whole something. Oh, I should show this picture. This one's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, you can send a picture to the chat?
Yeah, I can just pop it up on screen. Yeah. There we go. So this is me on the right. That's me. No, that's me on the left with Mushroom, with her kind of mushroom hair. And man, I need to lose like 50 pounds. I was so skinny here. Okay. Are you offended that people call you Mushroom?
No.
Of course not.
You can call me whatever you want to call me. I don't really care. I know a lot of people really feel uncomfortable if they pronounce their name incorrectly. But I don't really care because my Chinese name is definitely not an English word.
Right.
So it's totally fine.
And people often, when they hear your Chinese name, they get confused. And they say there are two other names that it sounds like, and they always say those two other names first. It's what? Oh, it's this? No. It's this? No.
Right, especially when you order coffee in Starbucks.
Yeah.
They write your name super wrong. I remember they wrote my name as J-A-U-N-N-G.
J? Wait, what?
J-A-U-N-G. Or J...
Jiang?
I don't know. It's something like that. Pretty complicated.
My God. Can I show this picture? I just think it's funny. It's cute. That is when you were in university, I guess?
Yeah.
That's not really mushroom hair. That's sort of like
I don't
bean
know.
sprout. I mean, that looks like a plant growing out of your head for sure. Here's a picture of me in China. I actually like this picture quite a lot.
Yeah.
My hair is the same.
You always have the same hairstyle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've always had the same hairstyle. I miss those headphones.
Do you know where you were?
I know exactly where I am. Yep, I know 100%.
But do you know where you were going?
I don't remember where I was going.
You were going to work.
Probably, yeah, dressed like that.
I remember everything.
Let's see if I can find some other pictures.
I don't think I have I've changed my hair.
You can read the chat if you want.
Okay.
See is there anything else we should show?
I don't know.
Should we show some pictures from... So one of the things that happened, maybe going back a little bit, we'll talk more about coming to America if you guys have questions about immigration stuff or...
Hey, what is this?
Adjusting. That looks like Spanish. Joe my Spanish is not so good. So you're going to need to probably put that in English for us to be able to read that. So sorry, friend.
I didn't learn English from Luke.
Right.
We had a conversation pretty naturally because we need to talk sometimes because we obviously get married and we talk in English and he speaks baby Chinese.
Baby Chinese?
Baby level Chinese.
No, like really, really good baby Chinese.
All right. I give you the credit.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so one thing I decided very early on is that I did not want to become her English teacher because that's my job, right? And it's weird for me to say, okay, let's have a lesson. But I think just naturally communicating is the most powerful way to improve your English. If you are constantly having conversations, you're getting the feedback of whether or not someone can understand you. So just practicing every single day, plus, getting a job, working, living in the United States, it's pretty powerful, right? Do you agree with that? What would you say really helped you go from, when we first met to now? When we first met, your English was not even close to what it is now.
Yeah. I think I put a lot of effort about learning English.
Yeah.
I definitely put a lot of effort. It's not only a natural. A lot of people say, "Oh, if you live in the United States, you have the environment of everyone speak English, so you have to speak in your daily life." I agree with that, but
it's only one part.
Really, if you don't know how to make a sentence, or if you don't know how to express something, or some vocabulary that you definitely don't know, and then it's a key word in a sentence, and you don't know even how to guess what's the meaning,
right,
what you're talking. So you have to put a lot of effort to learn. That's the motivation you have to do. Because I have to live here. I need to work. I need to make money. need to survive in the United States, I feel like there is an issue with my English. I have to really set up a time, learn every day. So that was it's definitely taking very long time. I took a couple of your courses, actually. Mm-hmm. That was really helpful.
Make sure you guys do that, of course. See, there's the ultimate testimonial. So you took my courses. But I never actually sit down and teach you something. Number one, that would be weird. I feel like, because you're my wife. I don't want to have the teacher-student relationship.
You know, the good way of learning English was you have to have resources, the thing that you learn from. Mm-hmm. So your courses that I've learned from, and then I started, I like to write down the words in a physical paper.
Sticky notes all over the wall. Exactly. You love the sticky notes.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I have a desk, and then whenever I heard any of word that I don't know, I write down the paper, and then they start to use that word. I really just translate that, understand what's the deep meaning of that. Of course, translate it in English. Yeah. There is an explanation about what is the meaning of that word and how do you use that word in certain scenarios. And then you learn from
example
the sentences.
Yeah.
And then the sentences might have some related word that you still don't know. And then you keep learning. It's ongoing learning process and resources. So you have the note with you, and then the other day I start to memorize. You have to memorize a little bit because I didn't grow up in the English environment.
Right.
That's not my native language. So I have to memorize and practice. There are so many times that I just ask you come over here and then do some exercise with me.
Check the list?
Yeah, you ask me what's the meaning of that word, and I have to tell you what. We did a lot of exercise like that. It was really helpful.
So I think you said a couple of things that I think are really important. Number one is your discovery. I talked about this yesterday. I think one of the biggest mistakes is people will go and find some random list of words to learn. And the way you have always learned words is by discovery naturally in your life. So at work, outside, going to a shop, you will find a word, and because you found it in your daily life or in your work, it's immediately connected to the context. You always have it in the context. And so when you are learning the word, it's connected to your life, right, rather than being just some random word. And then you always focus on putting it in a sentence, looking at sentences, right? Understanding it in the sentence and using it in a sentence, which is great.
I do think I have, so I use my phone.
Youdao, right? There's a great Chinese dictionary app called Youdao, which is, they got the pronunciation, sentences.
Google Translation is also good. Yeah. But I want to say, I have a list of English vocabulary in my phone. Whenever I see from outside word, it's a very frequently
used words?
Used word, yeah. Frequently used word. And I was just writing down to my notes, and I make sure that I have a list, and then I make sure that I learn from this list. So I make a plan. Remember, I have
your daily planner? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're very good with that.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like you need to have, because I'm very digital, so look at my note. I mean, this is my entire life here.
Because
I organize things digitally.
I need to know how to spell.
But for everything, you like to have a physical notebook. You like to write your plan down on a piece of paper. What is it about it being real for you?
I think that's just are you asking why I'm doing this?
Yeah, why do you? Yeah, because I don't need anything physical. Mm-hmm. I think physical stuff, it could get wet and it would be destroyed. I would lose it. So I don't like it.
I don't think about anything. I might lose it or anything. I just I think that's my habit.
Just a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Feels more real to you.
When the education part, which is the deep reason why I'm doing things like this, like writing down notes that help me to memorize, because that's how my
Chinese
brain
education
structure
system
build it. Yes, it's already built it. Because they will say if you make a mistake, when I was very, very young, if I make any mistake, and then the teacher will say, okay, write down 100 times on a piece of paper, and then that helped me to memorize stuff. So that's why I like to write down stuff.
I think we've got some questions. Can we go through some of those?
Yeah.
Sorry for not keeping up with them, friends and neighbors. Spiteful says education, more like indoctrination. Am I right? Yeah, fair enough. Aleda, who I saw is one of the people who completed the treasure hunt challenge yesterday. If you didn't catch it, we're still in the first 24 hours. So I gave out several clues for people who want to get a free course that is normally over $100, but you have to follow the steps. And Aleda did successfully. She got it. Please do not share it in chat, Aleda. Thank you very much. Let other people figure it out themselves. Okay, she says, how long did it take Mushroom to get a job in the USA? I think that's a pretty good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about it.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Sorry. Well, it was a scary situation coming to a new country. We stayed with my mom for a couple of months because we didn't have another place to go. But we knew we wanted to move. I knew I wanted to move to New York City. The reason is that I've been to many parts of the United States and I like them. For example, the Southwest, Utah, Colorado, I like them, but I never thought I could definitely live there. The only place I ever felt I can live there long term is New York City, because it's just totally different than any other place in the world, and it's a good vibe. But it's kind of scary to move there. It takes you have to find an apartment and you have to have quite a lot of money to move in, so that was a little bit scary. So we knew we both needed to, be making some money. So when we moved in, we finally found a place. When we moved in, she started just putting out applications, I think. And you put out applications to a bunch of places, right? But one of the places that you put an application to was a design job, graphic design job. And she has a long history of experience doing design. She's been doing design since
what? All right, I think I can.
Second grade or something.
So before I lived into my graduate, when I was in university, my major was animation. So I definitely learned design and drawing, painting. That was my major. So that was a kind of thing that I want to share with people who are not speaking English, but you live in English-speaking countries. So I have to use my hard skill because I lose my conversational. Because I used to be working in the sales, like the sales position, and mostly conversational stuff, and in order to make money. Since moved to the United States, I have to use my hard skill instead of my soft skills. For example, like a sales skills.
Right.
So and then I started looking for a job that is design related because I know how to design. So I definitely make myself as a designer at that time.
That's interesting. It's hard to do sales when you don't know the culture.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
But design is design.
How do you sell people's stuff if you don't know any of English, or if you're not good enough in English?
Cultural references, the psychology of those people. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started. Well, I think we made a plan once we moved to New York City because everything is super expensive. We're both not coming from very wealthy families. So we have to, make sure that we set up a goals, learn English, and then making money. Not making money, find a job. The other word is just making more money. I tried my best. I didn't really very picky because I know my English is the issue, and I have to try really hard to get a job. I think that was spent about 2 months to get a job.
I think it was, yeah. I think
the first job in the United States was as a graphic designer working for a wholesale company. So I was pretty lucky.
Well, one thing you were lucky was you got a job at that place, and they did wholesale, but then they launched a brand, and you essentially created the visual identity of the brand, and the brand got kind of big. It's kind of well known now.
Yeah.
And so you basically created the visual identity of a major brand. Kind of, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you did.
I was staying there. I was working for the company for about 3 years, right? 3 years or
I can't remember. I don't know.
4 years.
Maybe 3.
Wait.
Yeah.
3 years.
How's this? I put up this picture. All along, we got cats in China, and we brought them with us to the United States on the plane. We had to get special paperwork so that they could go through customs, and we brought them with us to New York. And this front one is very cute. Oh, they're both cute, I suppose. They're both cute. Here's the one of them fighting.
See the comments?
Oh yeah. She should make games. Okay. Games. You should make games. Cats again, Amar says. Let's see if we missed any questions. Amar says, I never memorize any words. I just have to hear a word once, and that's it in my brain. I think it's a gift. Jeez, Amar, you're a machine. That's amazing. Amar, does that help you in other aspects of your life?
Does that mean you know so many different languages?
Yeah, I need to know more, please. Also, if you want to call in, let us know. Do you think U.S. and Canada share the same culture? Is it the same living in these two countries? I would say probably 95% the same. There are some differences. Culturally, there are a few things. Of course, the government is different. There are differences, but there are so many similarities. Canadians say, instead of about, they say aboot. Instead of house, they say hoose. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, Canadians say, "What a boot? You want to go a boot? You want to go oot na boot?" That's what they say.
How long did you live in India? You traveled in India.
I traveled in India. Oh yeah, where's the Indian question? How long did you live in India? Yeah. I was in India for a few months, quite a while. I was learning yoga and meditation in India, and it was a great experience, and I really want to go back.
I think that was a pretty...
Pretty what?
I think we went through the questions.
Yeah, pretty much. Easy peasy. How she improved her pronunciation, and also how did she overcome her unnatural pauses if she had it when she started learning English? Can I say something about this?
No.
Okay.
You can.
Okay. You have always had weirdly natural pronunciation. You just have a natural sense of, you just sound very natural when you're speaking English.
I didn't try really hard to talk like American. I don't like it.
So I was listening to a Chinese government live stream, the big event, right? And the lady who was doing the live interpretation, she has to be the top, basically. Her English has to be amazing to be able to live interpret, government level stuff into English. And of course, her language skill is very good. She knows every single idiom and word and phrase that she needs. But it was like this, and she was talking like that, and it was very... So she had everything except for the accent. I find for a lot of people, it's so hard to get the accent. And you're like, you have the same gift that Amar has. Amar is a freak. He can just remember a word the first time he hears it. It's weird and it's unusual. You have the same thing when it comes to pronunciation. You just have a natural sort of instinct for what sounds natural. I don't know how. I don't know how you got that. You and Amar are just like freaks in different ways. Yeah. Does that make sense? Do you have any idea how? Why? You don't have a strong Chinese Chinglish sounding accent to me.
People still definitely can tell that I'm not native English speaker.
People can tell, but it's not like there are really good English speakers from other countries, and they speak English very well, but they still have a very strong accent. Mar says, I'm a freak. It's a compliment. Freak can be a good word. I mean it only as a compliment. I speak English, Arabic, Turkish, and Japanese. Wow. I know a lot of ancient Arabic poems in addition to a lot of other stuff. Amar, we need to talk. Can you call in sometime? I want to talk to you. Not today, as you said, but let's do it sometime. I really want to learn more about your brain. Okay, so we talked about getting a job. I don't know if we need to talk too much about immigration. If you guys have any questions about the immigration thing, the only thing I would say, because I had heard from people before, oh, you just get married and then you get a green card. In fact, you can do a fake one. It's easy. You can get a fake marriage and get a green card and immigrate that way. When I was in my early 20s, I had somebody ask me to do a fake marriage.
Okay.
It was a girl from Siberia asked me to do a fake marriage. She wanted to pay me a lot of money to do it. And I thought about it for about 10 seconds, and then I said, no, it doesn't sound worth it. That sounds like a headache. I didn't realize how much of a headache that would be. The amount of stuff you have to do to get a green card with a real marriage is insane. It is a very difficult process.
And that's illegal. Don't do it.
Of course it's illegal. Yeah. Yeah, of course it's illegal. Don't do it. But the whole marriage thing as an easy way to get citizenship, yes, it is the easiest way to get citizenship. But it's still very hard. It's like a 10. And then getting it through employment is like a 15. It's very hard. And then the other ways are even harder, unless you have millions and millions of dollars to get the EB-5.
I feel like even though we got married and we love each other, correct?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
And then we decided to move to United States to leave. In order to do that, I have to apply for a green card. It's already very complicated. It's very, very complicated. I had to went through a couple of interviews. And
so much paperwork as well.
Exactly, and the paperwork is pretty much like a private information about your finance, about your family details. You
have to ask your friends to write documents and sign them. I saw them on this day. We spent time together. They definitely love each other. Send them that signature.
Some references, letters from your friends to prove that your relationship is real. But think about that. All things have to fake it. It's gonna be a lot of headache just in order to, how can we fake it and make that sounds like a real. And then you guys have to share the same address. That means you have to stay together. It's just a little bit weird situation to get a fake marriage. So
yeah, I can't even imagine. And also, it takes place over a very long period of time. The initial period is maybe a year, maybe longer now, and then there's another period of 2 years, and then another step. It's so much, and it's expensive, and
Some of the tax situation is even more. So you don't want to share your income information with a person that you don't know, with not your family.
For sure, yeah. You have to have things like shared bank accounts, shared insurance, all of the things shared. Shared address. You have to show a shared address, and that you're actually getting mail to that address. And I had to do most of the paperwork, and believe me, it is the opposite of fun, for sure. Okay, maybe a few questions here. Rap Hamster, love that name. When we first got married, we lived in a small city in China, and we had a hamster named Puger for a while. Peter died though, sadly. He was a great hamster. We lived in the world's smallest apartment. It was insanely small. Our apartment was basically a bed and a kitchen and almost nothing else. So small. Friends from the States told me I sound natural like a native speaker, but I speak too slow. Can you give me some tips for slow speakers?
I think slow is good.
Slow is good. Don't stop. Stay slow, friend.
I think sometimes I speak a little faster just because I don't know who I learned from.
What's
it's
wrong with
pretty
slow?
bad.
Nothing wrong with slow.
You should speak a little slowly. Make sure you're clear and make sure you're thinking.
I think because he's rap hamster, he wants to speed up because he's a rapper. That's why. Yeah.
Keep going. How can we go to the USA?
You can.
I know this. Tourist visa.
Yeah, tourist visa. There you go. If you just want to visit, it should not be difficult to get a tourist visa.
People from other countries, yeah. If you have very close friends running a very big event, for example, they're getting married, and there is a ceremony going on, you can send an invitation letter to your friends in other countries.
Yeah.
See, I speak so fast. I shouldn't do that. I should speak a little slowly. You speak very slow.
I do. That's true. Because I want everyone to understand what I'm saying. See, you know what I'm speaking so slowly.
Yeah, that's a little bit rude when you have a meeting at a workspace.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
People might think, what's wrong with this guy?
I don't know what that means, Amar. Love and the small shack becomes a huge palace. Hate and the entire universe becomes a small dark. Oh, I see. Okay, I get it. That's nice. I think that's sort of like... That's nice. That's like the mind can make a hell of heaven or a heaven of hell. That's like that one. Can we mushroom? Is there any? So, okay, we talked about employment, moving. I wanted to ask you, I chose New York City. I didn't force that decision on you, but you didn't know anything about the United States, so you just let me make that decision.
Well,
Do you think I made the right decision?
I think so, yes.
Why?
I really appreciate that.
Like, what if we had moved to Utah or Texas or Ohio?
Ohio?
Yeah. Are you happy? I mean, what do you think
about...
Be a
farmer?
Yeah, we could have been farmers. Produce corn?
Well, that's the thing I want to do now.
Yeah, okay. So, well, I mean, what do you think about looking back over the last few years? Was New York City, could you see yourself maybe enjoying Ohio more or California or something? How do you feel about New York?
Live in New York is a very good idea. First of all, it's really tough to live in New York to be able to survive in that city because it's very competitive. You have to make sure you put a lot of effort in order to moving yourself forward because New York City is one of the most expensive city in the United States.
Yeah, of course. I think San Francisco, LA, and New York for sure.
Yeah, so you have to pay extra on tax or whatever thing. It's slightly more expensive.
Sales tax 8.8%, very high.
8.9, I think.
8.9?
8.9.
Okay, why do you know that?
So I was working for e-commerce before, so I know.
I thought it was 8.8. Okay. Some states have no sales tax.
8.75. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, I thought so. It's 8.8.
I think New York City is pretty cool. So I got some familiar vibe. For example, the Flushing has a Chinatown, but it's still Flushing for me. It's like a 90s in China.
90s
China is pretty fancy right now. Everything is pretty innovative. There are new concept for restaurant for different industries.
Toilet food. There's even a toilet-themed restaurant.
Right, and then I think Flushing still have... You always interrupt me, Luke. What's wrong with you?
Okay.
And then Flushing, at least I can got some really authentic Chinese food. I have a Chinese that make at the very beginning of the first year. When we live in New York City. There are a lot of people, I feel like I'm not a weird person when I'm walking on the street, and nobody care about who I am.
You feel New York, and then there's so many people that you just feel kind of no one really cares. So
very cool,
relaxing.
Yeah, it's a cool city with a bunch of cool people to maintain that culture of living in New York City, because nobody wanna give a F about you.
Nobody gives an F about your Fs.
Yeah, exactly. And there are obviously they're very international. There are a lot of business going on, new startups, a lot of big companies here. So a lot of people want to come to New York City, just want to build your career. You definitely need to set up a goal. If you don't know what's going on and you start your life in New York City, that might be a little bit awkward, because why you spend a lot of money on a daily basis living in such an expensive city without having goals? So my goal was just to build my career. That was my... It's
a hustler city, right? That's what people say. New York City is a city for people who hustle. Yeah. Casey Neistat, I don't know if any of you follow him. He was in New York City. He left to go to California. He lived there for a year. He said he started to feel like he was already getting old and just living a slow life. So he came back to New York because he needs the energy.
It's super fast like this.
Yeah. Get out of the way. Move.
People are really shouting at you.
Absolutely. You want to say anything about this?
That's a Chinese sentence. Is that American Chinese food is authentic? Actually, yeah, some of those.
Some of it, yeah. Like
in
Flushing, yeah. But a traditional Chinese restaurant, or a Chinese restaurant in America, the sort of the Kung Pao chicken places, and that's not authentic.
I mean, the Red Lobster even have a Kung Pao noodles.
Right.
Just blow my mind.
Yeah.
Someone actually ordered.
Leda says, do you miss your family and friends in China?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, what should I say?
Yes.
I miss my parents.
Yeah.
My cousins, my friends, but I don't really want to visit right now because it's a pretty crazy situation happening in China.
Yeah, for those who don't know, what's happening in China is basically there are a lot of restrictions on who can go in. So it's hard to even get in with a visa. So international travel in China is kind of shut down right now because they have a zero COVID policy. And so basically that's people have to go into lockdowns, and so it's kind of inconvenient because even if you did get a visa, when you arrive, you have to do a 7 or 10 day quarantine, which sucks.
Someone just asked why you didn't let your parents go to America. I think that was in Chinese. Because I don't want to.
Right, but they need to visit for sure at some point. How much credit score does she have left? I think that's the reference to the Chinese social credit score.
What's that? What's the credit score means?
Oh, maybe that's another thing that happened after we left. China developed what's called a social credit score, where you, for example, if you're in debt or you break some rules or something like that, you have a social credit score, and you might not be able to buy train tickets or buy a house or something.
Are you sure what's the meaning of credit score?
I think Spiteful is talking about the social credit score, not the... Because in America we have a credit score too, but it's only for finances. It's only based on the money. Okay. Well, I think that's the main stuff I wanted to talk about. Can we? So one thing that you immediately focused on when we came to America that you thought was really interesting, that you were not aware of before, was Amish people. Oh, yeah. You said, what? Wait. What do they don't use electricity. Why do they drive horse and buggies around? You were really interested in Amish people. What were you gonna say?
I don't think I saw them, but you told me.
Maybe I told you about them.
Because we were living in Ohio.
Yeah.
For a little while.
Yeah.
And then you told me they're a community.
Okay. So I've got Mushroom a video I want you to just react to. See what you think here. This is a video of a bunch of Amish people. Literally, they build a house in the wrong place apparently, and they're gonna pick it up and move it.
I like that.
That's what happens when they don't like where it is. They just literally pick it up and move it to another place. You want to watch this one? You can see over there, or you can watch over here.
It's very long, Luke.
We're not going to watch the whole thing.
Good to go now.
Wat zijn er groot naast je te de week? Dat zijn maar stoppen het aanstellen en dan al groot de week naar je.
Do you think that they feel like this is so fashionable, or you think they don't care about their hair, or do you think they're thinking my hair looks dope? It's amazing.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Ja, net stop is.
But do you think, for example, one person will say, I think green looks very fashionable, or I think blue looks fashionable, or they don't care about fashion?
I think they don't care about fashion. They just want to... I think the culture rule is a priority in their mind.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
It means we're going out there, setting it down on the road.
Ah, I see.
A special type of Dutch. They don't
My shoes tied?
They do. But they don't.
That's right.
I don't want to be tripping.
They're lifting.
Posting my way, is it?
Actually, there we go. Okay, yeah, they're walking.
Good. Oh. Stop it.
See it? Yeah. They're walking. Yeah, they're taking little steps. This is the video.
Let's just leave it right here. It's a great spot for a shop.
Moving it down the road. That's gotta be it. 1, 2.
Iron.
Up.
Oh, he's up there. Yeah. That's why that corner felt so light.
It's actually moving great. Look at their feet under there. Look at their feet under the house. That's so cool. Gotta see where they sit it down. Yeah, they put it down in the field, I guess. Maybe they don't need a foundation.
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not.
Okay.
I've been getting paid. That's pretty cool.
I think you should stop sharing. I don't know. I don't know how this works.
It's just an ad. You guys want to check out a free web class? It's just an ad. Okay, one more thing, Mushroom. You have time for one more thing? Mm-hmm. Okay. We just built a house, correct? What did you think about the process of building a house?
So far, it's pretty smooth. Definitely a lot of back and forth conversation with the person who helped us to build a house.
Yeah, but overall, good experience?
Good experience. I don't want to buy old house anymore. I just want to, I got spoiled.
That's right. So we were looking at a house, and we thought every place we looked at, nice neighborhood, gross kitchen. We knew we were going to have to do huge remodeling to basically redo it. So we just thought, what if we just build a new one? But I think we got pretty lucky with the builder that we worked with. Was very responsible, did everything really well. And when we did the walkthrough, I've heard some really scary stories of, when you do your final walkthrough. So the last step is when it's done, before you do the final thing, you do a walkthrough. And you go through and you say, okay, there's an issue here, there's a problem there, there's an issue there. And you highlight some issues. I think we had, how many issues did we have? Like 3 or 4? How many things did we say? Did we point out at the end? A couple, right?
Issues.
Yeah, the final walkthrough stage, when we were doing the final walkthrough, how many things did we actually say, oh, there's a problem there, there's a problem there?
I think you were checking on that. I didn't really. I was just pretty much enjoy.
You were just walking around saying, like, this is great.
Yeah, I think you and the broker, you guys were doing that part. I don't remember how I was doing it.
A few tiny little things. But I've heard way more stories of people say on their final walkthrough, it's hundreds of things. It's a disaster. And they have to, and it's almost like months of work left. So I think we got really lucky.
Our builder is our neighbor, by the way. He lives across the road.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's very good.
Okay, so one more thing. This is Home Building Nightmare from Ohio. And I'm curious how you feel about this one.
Frustrated with trying to find an existing home, Clayton Martis decided to hire a builder.
Yeah, we thought we'd build. Give it about a year. We'll take time.
It's working for him, but not for Jason Reeves, who just has a lot filled with dirt and weeds.
There's going to be a walkout on the left-hand side down here.
That was supposed to become his family's dream home.
And the final contract was finalized on March 25th.
But just as this bulldozer arrived to start work, his builder had some bad news.
And they asked us for $75,000 more to build our house.
In this neighborhood of $600,000 homes. Why?
They wanted $75,000 more because of the lumber prices.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Probably a huge house.
Yeah, $75,000. That's crazy. What would you do in that situation?
What do you mean?
I mean, you're about to build, and then the builder says, "I need $75,000 more." Sorry.
I can say some dirty words.
This happened to us, but it wasn't nearly this much.
Soaring lumber prices that have nearly doubled this year. This is happening to more and more families this year who are having a home built. You agree upon a price, sign the contract, builder says everything's great, and then he says, we're going to need a lot more money. Jason and his wife...
What do you think of have you ever noticed that the news voice is a very specific style? We're going to need a lot more money. They have a very specific way of speaking. Yeah. And the weird thing is, it's the same everywhere in the world. If you go to China, the news voice is the same.
For now backing out of the deal, but the builder wants to keep $17,000 of their deposit. An attorney for the builder told us $12,000 is for architectural plans, which the Reeves get to keep, and $5,000 is for administrative costs outlined in the contract. Jason has hired a...
So would you recommend people look at that option if they come to America, or is it not worth the... Because this stuff happens. This stuff happens to people. What would you say? I mean, is the process worth it for this kind of thing that can happen, things going wrong, things happening in the final walkthrough, or it's worth it because you can have the house that you want, no matter what it costs?
Depends. Right? Are you asking me or?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah.
It depends how your financial situation looks like. If you're able to, sometimes you have to learn how to sacrifice yourself when you make a decision. If the house is super expensive and you're not able to afford it, it's a long-term investment, so it's not good for you. Especially, nobody knows what's gonna happen in the future. You can only plan for it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a very risk in a financial situation. But,
Yeah.
Live in the real world every day is kind of like a risk, but for making a big purchase like this, it's a little bit too expensive for me, though.
Yeah.
Maybe some people are rich, they don't really care. They just build me a dream house, no matter how much money we're spending.
I'm gonna buy it with Bitcoin. Yeah. It can be scary, but I really, really, really enjoyed the process. Overall, I think it's totally worth it if it makes sense financially. Right. Okay. If there are any other final thoughts or comments or questions, I think this is a good one. Has she ever experienced any anti-Asian hate Not anti-Asian hate, just Asian hate. If it's anti-Asian hate, that's Asian love, right? I think. Have you ever experienced Asian hate in New York?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's good. Do you know anyone who has? No. I'm not even sure what it is. It's a lot of money, but it's also cheaper than buying a horse in China. Must be expensive to buy a horse in China. I think he means house there. All right.
I'm super familiar with that mistake.
Yeah.
So it's so familiar for me.
What, horse and house?
Horse and sometimes the wrong spelling.
Yeah, who cares? It's an R. It's an R.
That's why the auto correcting tool.
It's a Chinese correct?
Oh yeah.
Is it the same question?
I think his maybe this. I don't know what's the name.
Kubernetes. An error, yeah. I would imagine it's pretty expensive to buy a horse in China too, because if you live in a city, that's going to be very costly.
But I think it's fine to make mistakes, and I don't feel shame at all.
I just pointed it out because it's just a little thing.
You have a teacher mood.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I make mistakes all the time. Yesterday in my live class, I was doing a lesson and I made 2 typos on my main slides. So everyone makes mistakes.
We're all human beings.
You can watch my podcast from yesterday. That's, I think, interesting, but forgive the typos. Okay.
Create an account. What's the last message? Can I take a look?
Thank you. I come to create my account. Thank you so much. Oh.
Which
okay.
account?
I don't know. No idea.
Udemy account.
Oh. Speaking of that, guys, feel free to check out my full courses. You can do that, as she said, on Udemy or on my website. Now, if you go to the website, that is the first link in the description, you can get a free course. It's a 1-hour course called Natural English Conversations. That course would be a good place to start. And then you can check out the other courses as well. If you want to get access to all my courses, you can get a monthly or yearly membership, full access to all of them, as well as a one-on-one evaluation with me for the 1-year one. Yesterday, I did a very special event. I've only done it one time. I may never do it again. At the end of yesterday's podcast, I gave several clues to a puzzle. If you solve the puzzle, you get a special discount code that gives you a 100% discount on my very popular course, Advanced American English Pronunciation. So I think there's about 16 more hours where that will be active, maybe a little longer. I might extend it one more day and then it will be gone. So if you want to solve that puzzle, you can do it. If you're in New York City, though, you can actually solve it and get all my courses for free, but there's only one available. Only one. The person who finds it. There's a physical thing buried under a tree in New York City, and you have to find it, and then you can get all of my courses for free. First come, first serve. Aleda says, I enjoyed the puzzle yesterday. Of course, I won't reveal it. Thank you, Aleda. Please don't ruin the fun for everyone. Thank you very much. If you guys want, we might do more of these in the future. This is the first one, so it's kind of an experiment, but I think we would need to probably get 2 separate microphones. But
I think we can definitely interact with our audience to just make sure we talk about the topic that you're interested in learning.
For sure. Also known as K8 is an open source system for auto. Okay. Seems like Kubernetes is now doing an ad. Great. Not a great place to market your stuff, perhaps, but whatever. I'll leave that up. Thanks for joining, everybody. Appreciate having you here. Hey, thanks, Mushroom. What's up?
Where you can see how many people are actually attended to this.
I can't see the total yet, but we can check that later.
Okay.
Yeah. I can only see current live viewers.
Yeah.
Thanks for the comments, everyone. Hope to see you next week. Wednesday, I will be back, of course, for a solo podcast. And Jesus said, don't drink too much coffee. Yes, sir. Maybe he heard about the time I drank too much a couple days ago. Thanks, Aleda. Have a good weekend, everybody. We're going to go do weekend stuff, I think. Have some fun, eat some food, drink some coffee, play some video games.
Drink some coffee.
Yeah, oh, wait. Jesus said don't do that. Okay. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.